The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
Paisa or Paisa. The Paisa are magical little people of the forest in central Algonquin folklore, similar to European gnomes or fairies. They are said to be about 2 feet tall, and their name literally means little ones. In most stories, the Paisa are portrayed as mischievous but generally benign nature spirits. They may play tricks on people, but are not dangerous. In other stories, the Paisha have more formidable magic powers and pose a threat to humans and even to cultural heroes. This is only if provoked, and in some Miami traditions, the Paisha play more important religious aspects as guides to lead the spirits of the dead along the Milky Way to the afterlife. They are related to the Puckwas. The Pukwudgies are magical little people of the forest in Algonquin folklore. Similar to European gnomes and fairies, Pukwudgie stories are told throughout the northeastern U.S. and southeastern Canada, and some in the Great Lakes region. However, their nature varies in the folklore of different tribes. In the Ojibwe and other Great Lakes tribes, the Pukwudgie or Paisa are considered mischievous but basically good-natured creatures who play tricks on people, but is not dangerous. But in other Algonquin tribes, in other northeastern parts, the Pukwudgies can be dangerous, but only to people who treat them with disrespect. In other tribes of southern New England, Pukwudgies may play harmless tricks or even help human neighbors, but are just as likely to be dangerous, to steal children, or commit deadly acts of sabotage. Pukwudgies are usually described as being knee-high or smaller. Their name literally means person of the wilderness or little ones. They are usually considered to be spirits of the forest. In some traditions, they have a sweet smell and are associated with flowers. Pukwudgies have magical powers, which vary from tribe to tribe, but include the ability to turn invisible, to confuse people, or to make them forget things, to shapeshift into cougars or other dangerous animals, or bring harm to people by staring at them. Now the Paisha and the Pukwudgies are just two names. Dozens of distinct tribes who had their own interpretation and their own names of these little creatures. In fact, they were all interacting with these creatures. They all spoke different distinct languages that are relatable. They had their own distinct cultures and traditions, and yet they all described very similar creatures. So what was really going on in the forests of North America with the Native Americans and the Pukwudgies and the Paishas, and all the other names that these dozens of different tribes, unique tribes, gave to the very same thing that they encountered? In fact, almost every tribe in North America has stories of these little people. Very different environments, very different habitats spread across thousands of miles, and yet these stories remain consistent and the same. In the upper reaches of North America, the Innu have stories of little people, and they are called the Upshilanish. The Upshilanish are magical little people of the wilderness in Innu and other northern Algonquin folklore. They are said to be about 2 feet tall, and their name literally means little ones or little people. In the Innu tribe, the Upshilanish are described as powerful sorcerers who can turn invisible. Although they are not generally hostile to humans, they are conspicuous nature spirits who can wreak havoc if they are treated disrespectfully. If they are in a good mood, they may return lost items, help people who have become lost in the bush, or bring warnings to medicine people. If they are in a bad mood, they may steal things, commit acts of sabotage, or even kidnap children. In the swamps of Louisiana, the Quazachi tribe have stories of little people called the Autosi. And these little people have a particular power. Things that are small and easy for humans are large and difficult for them. But things that are large and difficult to humans are small and easy for them. And on the Great Plains, from the tribes of the Osage, the Omaha, and the Kanza, we have little people who are called the Ubabinali, meaning wild people. The wild people are fairy-like little people of central and southern Soasan folklore. They are described as being 1 to 2 feet tall, sometimes having wings, and in some tribes such as the Omaha, they are said to have only one eye. The wild people have magical powers and can be dangerous, sometimes kidnapping children or using witchcraft to harm people. The Kowa Anakasa are little people in the Choctaw folklore. They have strong magic and can be very dangerous, but sometimes also bestow powers upon people who treat them respectfully. Their name literally means forest dwellers, and of course they are related to the Pugwajees and other little peoples. The Dakota and Lakota tribes spoke of little people that they called the Chanotila. The Chanotila are forest spirits of the Sioux folklore, usually appearing as sprites or dwarves. Chanoti means tree dwellers. Chantotila means little tree dweller. They are considered messengers of the spirit world and often appear to Sioux people in their dreams. In the Tanana tribes, they have a little person or monkey people that are called the Tichin, and they are humanoid creatures with tails who live in trees and caves. They were said to be enemies of humans. The name simply means tailed ones. In the Lenni, Lenape, and Musing tribes, they have little people called the Wamataganis, are little people like sprites or dwarfs, said to be about as tall as a man's waist. They are mischievous but generally benevolent forest spirits, though they can be dangerous if they are disrespected. They have immense strength for their size, and in some folklore they have magical powers such as the ability to become invisible. They may help people who are kind to them, or tolerate their tricks with good humor. In some legends, they even serve as messengers of the Great Spirit. From the Cherokee tribe, we have little people that they refer to as the Yanwi Junsti, are a race of small humanoid nature spirits, sometimes referred to in English as dwarves or fairies. They are usually invisible, but sometimes reveal themselves as miniature child-sized people. The Yanwi Junsti are benevolent creatures who frequently help humans in Cherokee stories. They have magical powers and are said to harshly punish people who are disrespectful or aggressive towards them. Their name literally means little people. In the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and neighboring tribes, they have a race of little people called the Ya-Cheshi-Tehi, and they are considered dwarves. Although a benign race of small magical creatures exists in many Native American tribes, the little people of the Arapahoes and neighboring tribes are also known as cannibal dwarves or evil dwarves, are dangerous man-eaters and particular enemies of the Arapaho. Description of the cannibal dwarfs somewhat vary from community to community, but they are usually said to be the size of children, dark skinned, and extremely aggressive. Some storytellers say that they had the power to turn themselves invisible, while others say they were hard to spot simply because they moved with incredible speed. Some suggest that the dwarves' warlike temperament comes from because they must be killed in battle to reach the dwarf afterworld. Others believe that they were gluttons, who killed more than they could eat just because they could. According to most versions of the story, the race of cannibal dwarves was destroyed in the ancient war with the Arapahoes and other allied Native American tribes like the Cheyenne. Are there little people roaming North America and beyond? Seemingly enough, the world is edged in stories of little people, giants, mystical creatures, and lore. They are the Lost Cryptids, and this is the Lost Cryptids Conservatory.